Huh? Is that not yours? I thought that was yours.
I think it is mine, but I don't know why it's here.
Oh, I thought you put it there as like a thing.
Well, it is now. All right.
Hello, and oh no, that's you.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the No Breakfast Club. I'm Larry.
And I'm Daniel.
And today we're talking about the cheat code.
The cheat code. Today we're going to talk about the diet itself.
Yes, the actual diet that we did to lose the 500 plus pounds we've lost in the last year and a half.
Yes, the ins and outs of the diet. By the way, so when we tested the last episode, who was it? One of our friends who gave us feedback on it was like, "Hey, do you notice how you guys were all fidgety and moving in the beginning, and then you both calm down?" I'm like, no, but now that you've mentioned it, I'm going to be very cognizant of it.
Yeah, all the fidgetiness.
So now I'm like, oh yeah, we are fidgeting because we just started. It's very.
I'll probably continuously be fidgety. I'm always moving.
Well, but he pointed out that we stopped fidgeting.
Did we?
Yeah, after a little while, we got comfortable apparently, and I noticed it and I rewatched it. So anyway. This is our second episode. We did the pilot and ran it by some friends, and they all loved it. Like, I don't think we had any bad feedback.
Yeah, no bad feedback. Maybe a couple, we might want to change that or fix this, but those technical things.
Yeah, but that's what we wanted.
Yeah, we didn't get any this is shit.
Yes. Thankfully. I mean, if they thought that, they didn't tell us.
They didn't tell us. They were too nice.
Yeah.
So
this is the diet. We're going to go, we touched on it a little bit last episode, and yeah, let's talk about it. So the way we both kind of did it, and the way I started and told him, and Larry kind of picked up at the exact same thing, the same diet was you start with keto. Keto, the counting carbs is key, right? When you're really, really fat, I'd say the most important thing is to cut out carbs.
Cut out carbs, yeah, and particularly sugar itself, and then work your way through the rest of the carb tree.
Yes. So if you drink soda, I would say that's the first thing you
first thing to go. And I would recommend not even going to diet.
Yep. Baby steps.
Yeah. Well, I would skip diet. I wouldn't go to diet soda. I would go straight to water for at least a couple weeks.
That's really hard.
I know that is, but I feel like if you already like diet soda, maybe it'll work for you. But a lot of people don't like diet who drink regular soda. And so I would just not even do diet. I would just do water. And I would avoid any fruit drinks are almost worse than soda. So no fruit drinks, no juices.
Well, if you're cutting out carbs, you're going to have to start reading labels, and you'll find that juices have
tons of sugar.
More sugar than soda, believe it or not.
Yeah,
usually.
Most of them do. Like a 8-ounce glass of orange juice has more sugar than a can of Coke.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous, like 30 grams versus 25 in a soda or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually more. You'd be surprised.
It's way more. And it's calorically higher, too.
Calorically higher? A can of soda is like 200. This juice is usually 240, 250.
Yeah. So if you can, first thing you do, cut out soda, sugary drinks, juices, sports drinks, any kind of sugar. If you do energy drinks, you have to go sugar-free.
Yeah. So I wouldn't go so hardcore as to say don't even try diet. I would say definitely do whatever works for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see your point. Try both, right? If the diet thing doesn't work, or if you don't think you can do no diet, if you don't think you can go complete cold turkey, then try diet soda of some kind. But I would recommend trying, because I would try, when I was doing this, I didn't even drink diet soda till the last 6-7 months.
Yeah, I think I just did water.
Yeah. So, and it's because that's the best way, because even the artificial sweeteners have issues they can cause. So I would even try to go completely off of sweeteners as well.
But don't feel bad if you don't. We both drink diet soda now. I drink tons of diet iced teas, Powerades, anything 0 calorie.
I do the zero Powerade, and I do occasional diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't feel bad, but I would start with baby steps, right? So I would start with low carb, cut out soda. That would be the first thing you should cut out. And if you
alone can drop weight.
Yes.
So
yeah. And when you said in the beginning, don't diet, I thought you were saying don't jump into the diet if you're like cut out baby steps. So the first thing I did was I cut out soda probably a year before I started my diet. I just kind of knew that it was my time with soda was over.
Yeah.
So even if you're not ready to jump into the full diet yet, start with baby steps. Cut out soda. Once you're it's been a month since I've had Pepsi or Coke or whatever.
Or whatever your poison was.
Whatever your poison was, and you're not craving it anymore, cut out rice. Cut out pasta. Cut out bread. So take baby steps if you have to. You don't have to jump into the full diet.
Yeah.
Like,
If you want to, go
can.
for it, but be prepared.
because it's hard, right? Like, we
Yeah.
understand how hard it is. We've been there.
There's two approaches. I went full cold turkey,
So did I.
but I mean, I didn't even do the soda thing.
Oh, you didn't even do the soda
I was
thing.
probably cutting back on soda just
Yeah.
because I always would think about that, but I was still drinking it way more than I should. I went full on. I mean, that's why I had a full on withdrawal bad time
Sure.
the first week, but I went full hardcore cold turkey, cut it all out.
Okay.
Like that weekend I met you, that Monday I started.
Oh, okay. So when I cut out soda a year before, I fell off the wagon a little bit, a couple times. So I was drinking soda when I started the diet again,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like I had tried. Like I knew
You could cut out soda.
I could cut out soda. I'd done it twice. I was past it, and I had cut back on carbs in general. Because like carbs in general are what you should be focused on in the beginning.
Yeah, because carbs aren't a bad thing, but they are calorically dense and nutritionally, especially if it's refined stuff. Vapid, yeah. So they don't give you a lot of like the minerals and vitamins you need, but they give you a lot of calories. So when you are an athlete, carbs are great, right? You're a marathon runner and you need to carb up before you go because you need a lot of energy. That's fantastic. We're not world-class athletes running marathons or sprinting or anything like that. We're average American males who sit down for a living.
Yeah, and it's the first thing your body burns when you're an athlete, when you work out.
Yeah.
Like your glycogen stores. Glycogen?
Yeah.
Is it a hard C or a soft C?
I don't remember.
All right. So your glycogen store, I'm going to call it glycogen. If it's glycogen, comment. And but that's the first thing you use up. So that's the first thing you crave after you're tired.
Yeah, and after you eat.
Yeah.
You want more of it because that's what your body's burning. So cut the sugars first, then go to the flour based stuff,
Which are sugars anyway.
grains. Yeah, they're also just a different shape, different form of the same thing. And then the last to go would probably vegetable and fruit. Carbs.
Fruits would be the last carbs I would cut out.
Yeah, well, there's certain vegetables you want to avoid. So anything starchy that's technically a grain, I guess.
Yeah, like I don't even
Corns
count potatoes and stuff as vegetables.
But some people do. That's why I say that.
Yeah, like the starches should not count as vegetables.
Yeah, those are grains.
Yeah.
So grains would so anything flour, pasta, breads, those grains, and then you start cutting certain fruits out. The things that are high in sugar, they got to go. High in starch and sugar. Bananas, plantains, I love them, but they're
so good.
They're so good, but they're on that, and they're not what you want. And so you just want to stick to fruits after that are high in fiber, so their net carb is low, but you still have to be careful with that.
Yes. So cut out carbs. That would be step one. Once you've cut out your carbs, your next step would be to kick in with intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
So once you're on a low carb plan and you're like, all right,
low carb plan with healthy fats.
Yes.
You want to introduce healthy fats as soon as possible. So I wanted to say that before we go on intermittent fasting, you want to avoid a lot of vegetable oils and things like that. You want to use there's like avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil. Those are like the three you want to go to. And if you're going to have butter, you want to have grass fed. Like it's going to be more expensive, but the better butter.
Yeah.
And then for me, I like to do whatever animal fats on the meat I'm eating. Mm-hmm. If you want to go leaner, then you got to introduce those oils, because then if you're not introducing that fat to your meals and you're only doing protein and low carb, then your body's going to want to turn the protein into sugar, which it can do. There's a process in which that'll happen. So you have to learn to use fat as fuel, because that's what keto is all about.
Yes.
But yeah.
So let's focus on keto. You're right. There's a couple more things that we didn't talk about. Like we touched on last time a little bit. Avoid cold cuts and cheese in the beginning.
Yes.
Those are huge traps when you're going low carb. Like if too much cheese, too much bacon, too much cold cuts, you're not going to lose weight. You might still lose weight if you're 400 or 500 pounds
because you're just getting rid of the carbs is going to help.
You have so much excess that you'll still lose doing that, but you will plateau and hit a wall much, much sooner.
And there's a lot of bad things in all those cured meats and stuff. Carcinogens and stuff, that's when people, I think, like you'll run into someone who's vegan or vegetarian or whatever who are kind of anti-keto, and that's the thing they always bring up. And it's like, it's not necessarily meat that's bad, it's those meats that are bad, like hot dogs, sausages, and bacon, and cured meats, cold cuts, that stuff. So you can have them a little bit here and there, but at first, cut them out completely.
I would cut them out completely. Like I think I've had bacon 5 times in the last 2 years.
I do bacon more than that, but it's super rare. Like I don't more than once or twice. Like if I buy bacon, I go through whatever package I bought. Like it's like maybe 3 days worth of bacon. So I'll have bacon for like 3 meals, and then I don't have bacon for a month.
Okay.
So I mean,
Okay.
I have like a little run of bacon, and then I'm out of bacon, and I don't buy it till like it's on sale again, and I really want bacon.
Right.
But it's super rare for me even.
And I save my cheese for my cheat days usually.
Yeah.
Like I'll have a little cheese in there.
I don't do American cheese and stuff like or Velveeta or the cheap the gross cheeses that
Sure.
I like artisanal cheeses. I'm one of those douchebags. So like I'll do those cheeses, but they're rare for me as well. They're like once a week at most.
Oh, that's way more than me. Yeah. I don't do cheese that much because cheese is so calorically high. It's not really great for you. Like it's a trap. Like I feel like you remember how like cigarettes were like the bad thing for a while, and then sugar is the thing now. Like I think our next bad thing is going to be cheese.
Cheese. All right. Well, yeah. I don't think cheese is necessarily that bad. It's just that when you have cheese on everything and all the time, or dairy, just in general, drinking, you got to cut milk out.
Yeah.
Milk is full of sugar.
Full of sugar.
Well, that's what lactose is. It's sugar. Anything that has tose in the name, sucrose or sucrose, lactose, all that's all sugar. And so milk is full of sugar. If you're going to drink any kind of milk thing, you're going to want to have something that's higher in the fat side and drink less.
And that like heavy cream,
but that's really high calorically. So you're going to have a little bit of heavy cream, and that's going to have to be your milk fix if you're a milk drinker.
Yeah, and that's why calorie counting is part of this cheat code, which we'll get to third. But you're going to have to count calories because a lot of the traps of keto is like, oh, I can have anything because it's got fat in it. I can have heavy cream. Yeah, but you have to realize a tablespoon of heavy cream is 100 calories or something. 50. Like ridiculous.
But a serving is 2 tablespoons, which is 100.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot. That's, I mean, I don't know if you know how to cook or not, if you've actually measured out a tablespoon, but compared to a glass of milk, it's not a lot. The difference is there's almost no sugar in there versus the milk, which is full of sugar.
Right.
Natural sugar, but sugar.
Yes. So you're going to want to avoid milks. So keto is going to be a bit of a learning process for you. You're going to have to figure out the cold cut thing. You're going to have to figure out the dairy thing. You're going to have to figure out the cheese thing. You're going to have to find a balance because having low carb is not a free ticket to have as much cheese and cold cuts and fat as you want.
Yeah. You can overdo it on meat. You can overdo it on fat. You can overdo it on, all that kind of stuff. And the other side of this too is some people see keto and they think, oh, you don't eat vegetables. No, you eat a lot of vegetables.
I eat a ton of vegetables.
I eat more vegetables on keto than I ever did in my entire life before that. I've probably eaten more leafy greens this last year and a half than my entire life.
Yeah, we've talked about it. You actually start to crave it.
Yeah.
I love cauliflower.
And cauliflower and broccoli. I hated broccoli and cauliflower. Hated it.
Hated the taste.
I love broccoli and cauliflower now. They're like my two of my favorite vegetables, along with asparagus, green beans.
We've talked about how delicious cauliflower is.
It's so great. And cauliflower is like a mix of cabbage and broccoli. So if you want either one of those, just have cauliflower.
Yep. It's fantastic.
And anyone who says it sucks is they don't know.
Yeah. Well, your palate changes. So another big thing you'll notice as you lose weight and diet and stuff is your palate completely changes.
If I've actually had gotten a sports drink that wasn't 0 calorie and it tasted horrible.
Yeah.
I was like, what's wrong with this drink? Oh, this has sugar in it. I don't like this. Get rid of it. I used to hate dark chocolates. It was too bitter for me. I was a milk chocolate guy all day long. And now I love dark chocolate, and milk chocolate's way too sweet. It tastes cheap.
Right.
So yeah, your palate changes.
Your palate very much changes. So we're going to go back to keto. That's you're going to want to avoid the pitfalls. You're going to have to read up. You're going to have to do your research. Once you got the keto down, you're avoiding the cheese. You're avoiding the cold cuts. You're avoiding you're doing keto right. Like there's a right way to do keto and a bad way to do keto. And I don't even calling it keto. Maybe we just call it low carb.
Yeah, it's low carb. But keto is the hit word.
It's got baggage though.
It does have baggage on it now. Low carb, low sugar.
Low carb, low sugar.
Low carb, low sugar.
It's like telling people you're spiritual. They kind of roll their eyes. Right?
Yeah.
It's one of those trapping words.
But it's I think it's mostly about eating clean, right? So it's dropping processed foods.
Yes.
Because you can do keto and do it dirty and eat processed junk. And you will, if you're big enough, you will lose at first, but it's not good for you.
Yeah, here's the thing. At first, you're going to lose weight doing anything almost, as long as you're changing your ways, right? Because you're restricting.
Yeah, once you're restricting your diet, you're restricting what you eat, it's gonna cut calories regardless.
Yeah, but the difference between doing it long term and succeeding and keeping it off is going to be doing it right.
Yeah, so you're gonna want to go clean, keto, fresh meat, fresh vegetables.
Like you're going to suffer anyway, right?
You're learn to cook. You got to learn to cook.
Gotta learn to cook. Like you're going to suffer anyway, right? Like you're going to be hungry. There's no getting around being hungry when you're on a diet. Your body's trying to get to homeostasis, which means it wants the number of calories it needs to survive. So all these diets that tell you you're not going to be hungry, you won't be hungry, are full of poop.
Yeah, you're going to be hungry.
Always going to be hungry. No matter what diet you do, you're going to be hungry.
But there are things that help, and I found that for me, keto was the most satiating of diets. So when I did eat, at least immediately afterwards, I was at least full.
Felt full as heck.
Yeah, especially if you're eating a lot of those leafy greens and a big piece of meat, it works.
Right. So that's why you add the second step, intermittent fasting, because intermittent fasting, after you adjust, which only takes a week, maybe 2 tops,
it's almost easier than keto.
You stop feeling hungry during the day. You stop feeling hungry until your feeding window. Like your body is like, oh, we don't eat till 8 p.m. anymore, or 6 p.m. or whenever your window starts. Your body won't feel hungry until the window starts. And it's like, bam, I'm
starving right now.
As soon as that minute hits, your body's like, oh, this is when we eat. Let's eat.
Yeah. And so I was talking to this with a friend the other day. He's like, there's those diets you used to hear about all the time. I think they've kind of gone the way of the dodo, at least for now, where it's like you eat a little bit, and then a couple hours later you eat a little bit, in a couple hours you eat a little bit. And he was like, I would much rather fast for 2 days and then have a big meal than do the little bit, like 200 calories at a sitting for over 14 hours.
Yeah.
Because that just makes you hungry. You just want to eat all the time. And when you're doing this, once your body's in like autophagy and you're in the fast and you're deep into it, and you're, especially if you can keep yourself busy at all in any way, not saying giving yourself busy work, but you're like talking with somebody, or you're working on a computer, or you're out and about, you don't even think about it.
Nope.
Once you're in fasting mode, once you get those 3 or 4 days in a row and it's become like almost habit and your body's adjusted, you don't even think about food.
Food's not even it's not even on your mind.
Yeah. And then your mind gets so clear.
Crisp.
I mean, that is like, there's a lot of benefits to this. The biggest one we're talking about is for the weight loss side of things, right? You're reducing your calories because you're intermittent fasting. You're closing your window up. You're going to autophagy, so your body's self-eating, cleaning out bad stuff. That's all great. And then there's these other extra added bonuses. And one of them for me is like clarity of thought. Like
keto gives you that too.
It does. Yeah. You're not clouded. I used to joke, like I could hear somebody fold a piece of bread across the room, right? Because I could just hear it because everything's clear. I can see everything, like hyper vigilant almost, but in a good way.
It's fantastic. Second step is intermittent fasting. What that'll do is that'll free you up from being hungry all day. For whatever reason, your body adjusts so well. It's like, oh, we don't eat during the days, and I'm not hungry during the days anymore.
Yeah,
at all.
Your body's good at getting into a routine.
It loves being in a routine.
And if you are severely overweight and you're having these issues or whatever, you're in a bad routine. Your body's used to it and it wants to stay in that routine. Once you get to the new routine, it goes, oh, this is how we are now.
Yep. Your body's always seeking homeostasis.
I mean, like look at a dog, right? A dog has 4 legs. It loses that leg. You give it a couple of weeks, that dog runs around with 3 legs like it's always had 3 legs.
Not even that. Sometimes as soon as like the surgery is over, a day later, it's like running around.
It's running around as if it's always had 3 legs. And humans, we have a little bit too much space up here sometimes, and we think too much and too difficult, make things difficult than they are. But once you get past that and you just let your body adjust, this is my new normal.
Yep. Yeah, your new normal, and that's a good way. But you're always, if you're constantly trying to lose the weight and to diet, your body will adjust to that new normal very quick, much quicker than you expect.
Yes, much quicker. So, yeah, with intermittent fasting, we did talk about this last week too, and we'll break it down for those who don't know. There's different ways to do it. There's I think the minimum is 16-hour fast, 8-hour eating window,
which I don't agree with.
Which you don't agree with. I say for me. And I proved that it does work. It may not, everyone's a little bit different. For me, it does work, but my window isn't necessarily, I'm necessarily eating that whole 8 hours. I just have myself an 8-hour window. Usually it's more of a 2 to 4 hour window. But that's the minimum, 16 hours. That includes sleeping time. So you sleep for 8 hours, then you either got to wait 8 hours or 4 hours and eat, and then 4 hours before you go to bed, or however it is. But you give yourself an 8 hour window to eat in. That's like the bare minimum intermittent fasting. The other way that's very popular is the OMAD, right. 1 meal a day.
Well, there's a 4 hours, and so there's 8 hours.
You always tighten that window up, is what I'm saying.
Right. Some people do 6, some people do 4, some people do 2. I do 1 with
hour
OMAD.
With OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. That's what everyone calls it, like with Reddit and stuff, is the OMAD, which is just a different form of the same thing. And then the other way is, which I know a few people who do this, is where they fast for like 2 days.
And then eat for 1.
And then they have a day where they eat. They still give themselves a window in that day. It'll be like an 8 hour window in that day.
Oh.
But they'll go like a whole 2 days, or they'll do just a normal day of eating. Some of them do it that way too, because that's just another form of it. They just go into a deeper fast for a longer period in between, and they give themselves a bigger window to eat in.
Makes sense.
But it still works.
Makes sense. When you and I are going hard on the diet, we've often talked about how we only had 400 calories that day or something, like
it's practically a fast.
That's practically a fast.
Like, it's not really a fast. You have to stay under 50, and I would say shoot for 0.
Yes. So it's not like a real fast, but it feels like practically a fast.
Practically a fast. Yeah.
But it's not, right? You can't have more than 50 calories or else you'll break a fast. So that for your window, you can't have anything, like anything.
And I would avoid anything with sweeteners and stuff during the fast too, because that can break it just because your body thinks it got sugar and it'll start activating things in your body. So you want to just basically, in that, it's water. It's water, tea, and coffee.
Water, tea, and coffee. That's what we do.
And a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
Because they keep your electrolytes up. But even some people say vitamins will break it. I don't subscribe to that. I still take my vitamins.
I still take my vitamins. Like, I think anything going into your stomach that you have to digest probably breaks it.
But it's so, at that point, there's whatever's in there. It's going to be less than like 20 calories total.
But you have to find a balance. And so what I do is I'll take my vitamins when I eat, or right before I eat, like half an hour before
I take mine first thing in the morning, and I don't eat in the morning. So.
But you can change the time.
Yeah.
Like if you feel like it'll break your fast, like you can tell somehow your body tells you it's breaking your fast or something, change the time you take it. Take it half an hour before you eat, right? Some vitamins you have to take without food. A lot of them.
Some you have to take with food.
Some you have to take with food. So just break it up to like half an hour before you eat and then after you eat or whatever. However you want to do it, figure it out. It's not that big of a deal as long as you're doing it.
Yeah.
In general, every day. As long as you're fasting every day, as long as you're not eating carbs every day, like your body will adjust and you will feel so much better.
And we're calling this the cheat code. And I would say that these two together, keto and intermittent fasting, are almost 90% of the code.
Yes.
The last one is making sure you're not finding ways to cheat. Like to cheat the cheat code.
To cheat the cheat code.
And so the last one is
calorie counting.
Calorie counting, or calories in, calories out. Some people call it CICO, or I know I've seen it called CICO.
Yep. Caloric restriction.
Caloric restriction. So that's the easiest one. You need to find out. I would do this. So find out what your weight is right now and your height. Male, female may matter. Find one of those there's a lot of different calculators, and find out the one that shows you how much it'll take to maintain your current weight at your height. So you put in your height and your weight, and it'll tell you, here's how much you have to eat every day to maintain. And you'll be surprised at how high that number is.
Yeah.
So like, I think at our peak, it was near 5,000 calories a day to stay at our high weights.
You'd be very surprised at how much calories you're taking in when you're really big.
And then a lot of those calculators will show you like a healthy number to shoot for to lose weight over time. So that you say whatever your weight is now, you have to eat 3,500 calories a day to maintain. It'll say, okay, well, cut that back to 28 and you'll lose like a pound a week. We're going to go more than that because we're going extreme, but that's like a number that you can look at. For me, I try to keep it under, if I want to maintain my current weight, because I am so tall, I think for me, it's like 2,400 a day.
Should be more than that.
It might be, but I might be shooting for a lower weight. I might be saying like to stay at 200 or something.
Because mine's at like 2,600 right now.
Maybe it's 28 and I'm undershooting it. I don't know.
But I'm still carrying around 30 pounds, 40 pounds of extra weight.
Yeah, I'm not carrying as much.
Yeah.
But it's like 24, 26 or something in there. But I usually shoot for below 1,500 because I'm still trying to lose.
And I still shoot for 1,500 or less as well.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how easy that is to maintain after you get used to it.
Yeah.
Like
to the point where you eat something that has like 50 calories in it and you're like, oh no, I'm not even close.
you learn real quick, like that your body doesn't need all that food you've been putting into it all this time. It's crazy how less food you think you need than you think you need.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's very surprising. So yeah, caloric counting is the third step to the cheat code, and it kind of, all these three things together supercharge your weight loss. Like he and I said in the first episode, we both lost a pound a day in the beginning for a while.
Yeah.
Like for a long way. It burns off at first, especially if you're over 300-400 pounds. Like it just melts off.
It melts off you. It was so fast. There was times where like I would like eat a big meal and still lose weight.
Yeah.
Like I would weigh myself after eating this big meal and like 7 pounds dropped the next day. I'm like, what? Because it was like, because all that stuff I ate was instantly used by my body for what it needed to be used for. Nothing was left over. There was no extra. And in fact, maybe even digesting it burned more than I got out of it in some way, you know? I don't even know how that works, but it was just like your body is just like throwing the weight off.
It's unbelievable how quickly.
I mean, I definitely had months in there where like, I was like literally losing 30 pounds in a month of all 30 days, and sometimes more than that.
Sometimes more.
You know, but then there are those months where you only lose 15 pounds, you know? But yeah, so literally it's an incredible change. And again, the calorie counting, it's making sure you're not sneaking stuff.
Yeah.
And you really got to be on top of it when you start definitely, because I don't calorie count at all now.
No.
Almost not.
Neither one of us does.
But at first, you learn how to. But at first, you really got to learn to do it, because you'll be surprised where you'll buy something something you've always heard your whole life is healthy, and for whatever reason it is healthy. But you've always heard this is a healthy option. Get this thing, you'll buy it, and you'll eat it. And you're like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. And then you actually read the label.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, I'm actually eating 4 servings of this thing, and I just put 1,800 calories in my body, not including everything else I just ate.
Nuts is a great example.
They're super calorie dense. This is why they're in every trail mix, because you're out hiking when you're supposed to be eating that. You're on the trail. When you're at home sitting in front of your desk eating a thing of nuts, like one of those like little Planters peanuts thingies, it's like one serving is like 140 calories, but there are 10 servings in there. So if you eat that whole thing, that's 1,400 calories.
And it's like a can this big. You don't expect that can to have almost your entire day's worth of calories in it.
And so if you don't know that and you're just popping, oh, I'm eating healthy, these are almonds and peanuts and, you know, whatever, cashews, which are one of the worst. But you're like, oh, I'm eating nuts.
Cashews.
These are
They're
healthy.
so buttery.
Oh, they're so great.
They're so good. Yeah, like once you start looking at calories, it's so weird. Like I used to, when I was heavy, like I would have Cheetos, the jalapeno Cheetos, like were my jam. And then one day I was having a cheat day and I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't had that in a year. I think I'm going to I picked it up and it was 1,600 calories for a bag this big.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even justify this on a cheat day anymore. Like 1,600 calories for a little bag of chips.
Yeah, the little bag.
And I would have like 2 a day sometimes of those things on top of my meals.
On top of your sodas and everything else. Yeah.
So like you don't count. You have no idea of of how much calories things have when you're heavy, because you don't look at them ever.
Yeah, you don't.
Ever. I didn't know they were 1,600 calories a bag when I was heavy and I was eating 2 a day. I don't think I ever looked at the bag, at the calories.
Well, that's those things that will surprise you. Like, and when you actually look at serving sizes, you learn what a true serving size is. Like a Chips Ahoy's cookies or something like that. I think it's like either 2 or 4 cookies is a serving.
Probably 2.
2.
Yeah.
Who eats 2? Or like a Pop-Tarts. 1 is a serving. 1 Pop-Tarts in a package of 2, because they always come in doubles.
Yep.
Only one of those is a serving. So when you see the calories on the back of the Pop-Tart, that's for one of those 2 Pop-Tarts, that it always comes with 2. And who eats just the 1?
Yeah, you'll always have to keep in mind moving forward.
Cereal's another one. Sorry, cut you off.
Yeah,
there.
that's all right.
It's a cup.
Yes.
With a half a cup of milk, I think.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. Everyone does a bowl.
You'll have to keep in mind that a lot of this stuff you're going to have to make the judgment call on. Like Tic Tacs are a great example. Tic Tacs advertise themselves as a sugar-free mint, even though the first ingredient on the label is sugar. And that's because a serving is 1 Tic Tac. And because the law says if it's under 5 grams, you can count it as 0. A Tic Tac has something like 4 grams of sugar and 4 calories or whatever it is. But because it's under 5, they can advertise as 0. So you have to keep all that in mind. You're going to have to like learn these things as you go.
Read the labels. There are groups, there's forums, chats. Learn to Google. That's an important thing. I don't want to say that as like there's a skill in learning how to research and how to look things up online. Learning not to trust certain links, learning what links you can trust, where to find information. There are resources out there, and you can always reach out to us if you want more help with it. Yeah,
absolutely. So the secret's going to be you're going to have to figure this out on your own. You're going to have to figure out what is higher, like the Tic Tac thing. It says it's a sugar-free, 0-calorie thing, but if you have a handful of them, that's 100 calories you've had. You know, if you have like 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you have to watch these things, and you have to like figure it out as you go. But the cheat code, keto, intermittent fasting, calorie counting, those three together, for whatever reason, supercharge the weight loss. They send your body into this fat burning machine state that just melts calories. Melts it off.
Yeah, you and again, like for me is I did keto before without the intermittent fasting and the calorie counting, and I've done calorie counting before without the other two. I'd never done intermittent fasting on its own, but when you combine those, it's so fast, it's so effective, it's ridiculous. Like there's a reason we call it the cheat code, is because it feels like it's not real. It feels like you found like you're cheating the system somehow, and then you're waiting for the backfire.
Yes.
That never comes.
Yes.
You're waiting for okay, I was doing this, but now this bad thing's going to happen. And then it never happens. You just keep losing, and it becomes like a new normal. Your homeostasis where your body wants to be changes, and it just falls off of you. For me, it was falling so fast. It was like a game. It became my new addiction. I had to put the scale away sometimes because I would just want to weigh myself all the time.
I weighed myself every day. I still do.
Yeah, I try not to.
Oh, I don't.
I'll literally put it away. I'll put it in a cupboard so I don't use it for a few days.
Why?
Because sometimes I get caught up in my head too much. You know, but I do what we all do, right? We all want to make things more complicated than they are.
Sure.
Like it gives you an excuse for why things are or not working.
But it keeps you accountable.
It does. But sometimes I'll also say that sometimes in there, I would have, this is just like an anecdotal thing for me, and it may or may not have applied to you or others, but where I would look great. Like I would look at myself, I could see that there's been a big change the last like 2 days, but my weight stayed exactly the same for those 2 days.
Right.
But if I grabbed like a measuring tape and measured, I could see, oh, that changed.
Yeah, your pants fit better or whatever.
So it was like the body was like holding the weight, but it was adjusting where it was holding it and moving things around. So I had days like that. And when I was on a day like that, and if I was weighing myself, I might get discouraged. So I put it away and just, you know what, I'm just going to stay on the program. You know, I'm going to keep on track, and I know I'll pull through this. And I always did. And those weird plateaus.
Right.
That's when I was like, okay, time to put the scale away for a week and come back to it. But you didn't need to do that. That's fine. I needed to do that.
That's fair. And you brought up a really good point earlier. It's like, we're both kind of in the same shoes. I tried keto a long time ago when it first, like when Atkins was a thing.
Yeah, I did Atkins too.
Yeah, like that was, you know, like Atkins' book had just come out. I was in my mid-20s.
South Beach diet, Mediterranean diet.
And I was like, and I tried it, and it was like, it worked for a little while. It worked for a month or 3. I was losing weight. The problem was it was hard to do long term. Like I got bored of the diet. I never once got bored this time. Like
I would eat the same thing for days in a row and be okay with it. You know Lex, what's his name? The AI podcast guy.
Yeah.
All right. So he was
Lex Friedman.
Lex Friedman. Thank you. I couldn't remember his last name. He was just on Joe Rogan, and he's been doing keto, intermittent fasting, carnivore back and forth for years, apparently. Like as soon as carnivore first popped up, which is another diet we're not going to get into today, he did it. He tried it. And you look at him, he's perfectly healthy guy.
Yep.
But that's because he basically explained on his recent appearance was he can't like have, there's a plate of cookies. He can't have one cookie.
Me neither.
He has to eat the whole plate of cookies.
The whole thing.
So his whole thing was he likes to eat keto, and he likes to fast, and he likes to make the food as simple as possible. And he's happy with that, but it keeps him from craving
indulging
and craving other things. And I think that kind of is true. I get a little happy with the spices and things like that.
Right.
But the simpler it is, the easier it is. So when you like, that's a trapping of keto I want to talk about, is baking in keto. There are a million recipes. If you ever get on these keto groups or chats or whatever, or websites, they will have a million different products they're trying to sell you, for one. And some will work and some won't, but that's a trapping. Two, they'll show you all these like recipes. So like, here's how you can make chocolate chip cookies that are keto. Here's how to make cheesecake. That is keto. Here's how to make brownies, tacos, whatever it is. They're going to try to show you a way to make the thing and make it keto. And the trapping with that is you're riding an edge, like of a cliff. And you could easily fall off and go right back into carb land.
They're also like, you have to be super careful with those recipes, and I would suggest not even doing any of them, because they're so high calorically. If you notice, they're full of Parmesan cheese, and they're full of heavy cream
cheese and
cream cheese, and just you need,
and they also almost always will have your carb limit in them.
Yes, and they'll be up to your, like, it'll be net 4 carbs for a piece, that big. It's
just
like
this little tiny thing, yeah.
And it's like,
and then are you going to be able to eat just one? No,
yeah, you can't. Like, they're trappings, and they're a way for you to keep eating unhealthily while lying to yourself,
pretending like you're doing the diet correctly when you're really not.
So it's important that I would highly suggest you don't follow don't try and make yourself keto pizza. Don't try and make yourself keto lasagna, keto cookies. Don't do that. Like, I ate tuna salad and chicken salad for a year, and it sucked the first week. And after that, I grew to love it. I grew to love cauliflower.
I hated cauliflower and broccoli, and I love them now.
Yeah, like I promise you will learn to love these foods. But if you start off on the wrong foot, if you start off trying to fake it and eat fake pizza and fake lasagna and fake cookies, because they're supposedly keto recipes, you've already lost.
Yeah.
Like, that's
you're
my
buying all
opinion.
the different flours that are like low carb, keto friendly flours and things, and trying to bake or buying the products themselves or whatever. You're already falling into that trap. And
it's not like there's no time to do that. You can do that later. But at first,
don't
learn the discipline. Like, the important thing here is you're going to teach yourself discipline. You don't have any discipline right now, and neither did we. Like, I didn't realize how little discipline I had when it came to shoving food in my mouth.
Yeah, just shoveling it, literally.
Yeah, like,
not
literally.
even tasting it.
Are you kidding?
It was all aftertaste.
It was all like the mouthfeel, and this was so good, I can't wait to have more. And I would sit there just bloated and stuffed, going, I barely enjoyed that
in a
meal.
food coma.
Horrible. So you're going to want to teach yourself that restriction and discipline. This is what this is about. If you're starting off on like, let me find all these crazy recipes. Look, this tastes just like pizza. That's because it's got just as many, if not more, calories than pizza anyway.
Yeah. You're putting so much butter or cheese or whatever it is to make it taste good that it defeats the purpose. And so, I would totally avoid all of those little, I call it keto baking, because it usually involves baking in some way.
They're just traps.
They're just traps. They're keto traps.
Low carb traps.
That they're no good and
no bueno.
Uh-huh. And once you get and I know everyone I know who does that. Like, they share the recipes with each other, and they do that. They're always the ones that have all failed. They're all the people I know who they maybe lost 20 pounds and then put 30 pounds back on. Yep. And they're like, how did it work for you? It's like, 'cause I didn't do that stuff.
Yes. Neither one of us did. And that's going to be key. Like, you
got to eat clean.
You have to eat clean. Like, chop up your vegetables, chop up your clean protein and mix them together and just eat a clean meal.
Yeah. Learn to cook. Don't learn to bake.
And I can't cook. Like, Larry's a great cook. I'm a crappy cook, terrible cook. But I could still chop up chicken breast or tuna with bell peppers and a little bit of onions and like a scoop of mayo and tuna, and have myself an amazing tuna or chicken salad.
Yeah.
A little bit of salt and pepper, 7 spice, whatever. Like, I can't cook at all, but I still made it work.
I'm a grill guy. So I learned to grill while I was fat. I just translated over and got rid of all the sugars and the sweets and the sauces and the fries and the soda, and I do that meat, and I just throw in now broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, asparagus, cabbage. I love cabbage. Such a simple
cabbage
thing.
is because it's crispy. It's got potassium, which your body craves.
It's got magnesium, I think, as well, and sulfur and other things you need. It's fantastic.
I love cabbage. Cabbage is one of my favorite vegetables.
Yeah,
like I enjoy it, and
a whole thing of cabbage is almost nothing.
300 calories for a whole head of cabbage or something.
You can't even eat that.
And that's just off the top of my head. I don't know if I'm right, but I think it's like 360 calories or something for the entire head.
Yeah.
And like, that's nothing. And it's got all the potassium you could use for the day, magnesium, like it's filling.
Yes.
It's so filling.
It's a great filler. You mix it with the meat, and that's one of my things I like to do is I do cabbage, cauliflower, all those kind of like vegetables you can eat, cook them up, and then put them in a wrap with some meat.
Yep. And it's versatile.
It's
You can cook it. You can eat it raw, like as a salad.
Yep.
Like, sometimes when I make a wrap, because we get there's low-carb tortilla wraps at Walmart that we both are in love with. They're spinach flavored. They're just so good.
I can't remember the brand. It's got a bull on it.
Wellness, something
like that. Yeah.
It's green. There's one made by Mission that's not at all healthy. That's also green, like that, and they're close to each other on the shelf. At least at the Walmart I go to. So don't pay. That one's like 300 calories a tortilla. This is 50, and like 4 net carbs,
4 or 5 net carbs. Yeah,
and it's so good. We both swear by it.
Yeah, and I'll have a couple of those a day at most, usually, but.
Yeah. So what I was saying is I make a wrap in that with like cauliflower rice and a fish or whatever. And I'll put cabbage as the crispy,
crunchy part,
right? Because we can't have chips or crackers or anything. But
I do pork rinds.
I don't do pork rinds because they're so high in calories.
Yeah. You have to be careful.
So calorie counting is the third step. And that's why like with the pork rinds, I don't do them. You can easily do over 2,000 calories, especially keto, because it's so high in fat if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the trapping we were talking about with all these silly recipes online. Like, those are people who are not looking at calories at all. And they're like, oh, but it's low carb, so it's okay. No, it's not okay. If a slice of pizza is 600 calories, it's still 600 calories, whether it has carbs or not.
Yeah. That's the other one. People don't, they'll show you the recipe and they'll show you the finished product. What they don't tell you is the serving's a quarter of that or a sliver of that. So you think, oh, I can have that. And then you're trusting a website that has like no official like nutritional information on it. Like, do you really know what's going into that? Like, or did you actually check, okay, here's everything in the recipe. What are the calories in all those things when they want to add them together? Is it really what they're saying at the end?
Right.
Because I don't know. You'd have to do the math on it. And I was like, at that point, is it worth it? No, just have the simple... the simpler the meal is, the more you get used to that, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
Try to keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
And use an app. Like I think MyFitnessPal is the one I use to track my food and stuff. It's
free and it has all that. And you can adjust it to where you want it to be.
Yeah.
If you end up not doing keto and want to do low fat and do intermittent fasting or something, you could adjust it to make it do that. If you want to do vegan or pescatarian, whatever diet you want to do. Because again, we're calling this a cheat code because it works fantastically.
It works so
for
good.
us. And in my opinion, it's probably the most effective outside of maybe a massive surgery of some kind. But even that cannot work because it's not worked with people before.
There's a ton of people that hasn't worked for. And honestly, like, I hate to use the word lifestyle change because that's like, it turns people's brains off. And this is not that in the sense that you don't go into it with that mindset. But you look at yourself 3 months later, you're like, oh, my lifestyle has completely changed.
I was just talking to my brother-in-law last night, and he basically told me, you're a totally different person than you were a year and a half ago.
Yep.
Like, not only physically, but your mentality, your attitude, your everything. He's like, you've completely changed. What brought it up was I was talking about when I was editing our episode 0, and I kept seeing myself not recognizing myself because I'm not on camera that often. So I was like, who's that guy talking who sounds like me? That's all I could think the whole time. And so my mom had mentioned the day before, like whenever I walk into a room, she's like, is my brother here? Because my brother's always been tall and thin. So she's like, is Josh? Oh, it's Larry. Or she calls me her brother's name. I keep getting called Lonnie. That's my uncle because he's a tall, thin guy. And I look like him apparently now. And that was never a thing.
Right.
I barely look like them, And so... if people have a hard time recognizing me, I have a hard time recognizing myself. My brother-in-law had to point out, and your personality has changed dramatically. You're much more upbeat, happy. You're less opinionated in a way, I guess. He was trying to more tolerant, very much. Like, I was probably a Republican and now I'm a Democrat. No.
Let's not get into that.
I'm just joking. Yet. No, but I was, I mean, it goes both ways. I was more on the extremes, I guess I would say. Like I was either like very, very happy or very, very angry, and now I'm mellow.
Yeah.
And I'm calm and I'm cool and I'm still happy and I can still get upset, but it's not these extremes.
I'm kinder. I'm more tolerant. Like I tell
Much
people,
kinder.
I tell people I don't recognize the man I was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was much more dark humor.
Unhappy. Made fun of myself all the time.
Yeah, you got to make fun of yourself before someone else does.
Someone else does. Yeah. You take their power away, supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. So it's very self-deprecating. Very. I was easy to anger, quick to anger. Yes. I would go on rants.
Yes.
I wasn't necessarily at anybody, but I would definitely get on I still do that now, but it's a lot more jovial, a lot more kind-hearted.
I disliked people more. Like, this guy is bad.
He must be a douchebag just because I saw him. Not because he did anything.
You have
I don't
to
even know him.
You have to realize so much of that is your personal baggage and projecting and all kinds of crap that you lack so much self-awareness when you're heavy that you don't even notice these things.
It's like that clarity you get with fasting and eating healthy and not being in that constant brain fog. You can see yourself now. You can see the attitude problem you have. Like I think sometimes it's like you didn't want to deal with people, so you just automatically put them in certain boxes that were not true.
Yes.
It was just easier to put them there rather than dealing with myself.
Yes, because that's what you're ultimately trying to avoid dealing with, yourself. It's not them that's the problem. It's me.
You. If everyone you meet's an asshole, guess what? Yeah.
Well, I heard a saying once that I use all the time. It's like if every store you go into smells like shit, you have shit on your shoe.
Yeah.
So
if you're that person who every waitress is a problem, every clerk is a jerk, it's not them.
Yes.
It's you.
It's you.
So you got to find that attitude problem, whatever it is. If, like I said, like for me, it's like if everyone you meet in that day is an asshole, maybe you're the one that's being the asshole today.
And that's also why it's called the cheat code, right? Because it's like if you're sitting there at home going, I can't do it. It's impossible. I'm not like you guys. I'm different. My thyroid.
I'm different. That's my favorite one. I'm special.
So many people say that.
That Walmart commercial. My eyes. My special eyes. Right?
Yes.
Everybody has that. It's different for me. I had a guy, literally, I posted a little success story. I was trying to encourage people. It was nice. You get a little validation out of it. So I'll admit there's that. But also you want to help people. So I was like, hey, I did this. You have any questions? Let me know. And a guy literally posted, he's like, well, you're lucky keto worked for you. It doesn't work for me. Like he was special. But in his image he sent me, he was this huge guy and he had a bowl of ice cream bigger than his head. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, maybe it would work if you were doing it. That's not keto.
Exactly.
So how are you going to tell me, oh, keto works for you? It didn't work for me.
Exactly.
Did you do it? But yeah. So are you that person? I'm special.
Yes. So
I'm different. My thyroid. You may have a thyroid thing, but are you going to rely on that? Are you going to use it as a crutch?
So many people make excuses and so did we, right? Like this is not judgment. He and I, for me, it was 39 years. For you, it was 34, 33, whatever.
Yeah,
like I made excuses my whole life. Oh, I'm just big boned. I'm never going to be a thin person. Like honestly, guys, when we edit this, put up our pictures again, right?
Yeah.
Like when I used to look at myself, I used to tell myself, I will never be a thin person.
Yeah.
Ever.
I never thought I would be where I'm at now, and I'm not even where I want to be yet. I'm not even finished.
We're not done. Neither one of us is done yet. And yet, looking back 2 years ago, neither one of us thought we could even get here.
Like we had those fictional numbers. Like if I can get to there, I'll be happy. Like
300.
If I get under 300, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Like no.
300 was my dream. If I get below 3, I'll be a thin person. I won't be this massive. Jesus. Yeah. So it's. I can't stress enough how much you will change. I know it feels impossible. I know it feels like you've done them all and it's never worked, and how you're special and different than the rest of us, but you're not. You're like us. You're just suffering right now and you've lost hope and you don't think you could do it. You can do this. And it's not even hard. If there was a way for me to take people and lock them up in a room for 1 month and force them to do this diet, I guarantee you 99% will walk out of that room going, thank you.
Yeah, because I told you, like I had this idea, no one steal this idea, but no, like a serial killer, right? And he does that, and he's like, he's not a good guy. He wants to kill people, but he wants to give himself an excuse to kill them. So he kidnaps fat people, and he does that to them. He puts them in a place, and he makes them lose weight. And then they get say they get about half the weight they need to lose down. Then he lets them loose, and if they stay on the diet, then they pass the test. And if they go back to how they were, he kills them.
That's one of those very dark thoughts you used to have, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure. But no, that was the idea, right? Because I think it was our friend, our mutual friend, who basically said, people who say all the time, well, I just can't lose weight. And he's like, well, if I put you in a concentration camp, you'll lose weight.
Right.
It's horrible as that is to say. It's true.
Right.
Right? Because if those calories aren't there, and whatever that thing is not there, you will lose weight. If you are burning more than you are putting in, you will lose weight. That's physics. We're not special. We don't have a special portal that's just adding weight inside our stomachs. We are all the same. You will lose weight.
We all like to think we're different.
We all like to. Yeah, I'm special in some way. Or
we're all unique snowflakes.
I have a unique problem that you don't have, that you don't understand.
My metabolism's different than yours. My thyroid is different. I have a gluten allergy. I get it. We all have these little quirks, but at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories out.
And if you're going to use those as an excuse, it's never going to work.
Like, you can do this. You can really do this. He and I were both 400 or 500 pounds. And we were both in the place where you're at right now. If you're 300, 400, 500 pounds and you're sitting there going, I've tried every diet. I can't do it. I'm special. I'm different. You're just lying to yourself. And I know that's probably hard to hear. And you're probably going, what does he know? He doesn't know me. Yeah, I didn't know Larry either. And I just told Larry the diet I did, and he ran with it and did it. And I didn't think I could do it at first, and I just ran with it and did it. I promise you, if you just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
There's a thing that's a 90-day challenge, right? And if it's like the guaranteed way to change your life or something like that. Somebody brought it up. My sister's doing it now. She's revitalized her diet. My sister's been doing this for a while. She lost 80-ish pounds, but she got complacent. So she's reinvigorated herself. She's doing the 90-day challenge. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it clean 90 days straight. And I feel like if you can do this, you don't have to do 90 days. You give yourself 30 days.
30 days. That's all you need.
30-day challenge on this. And if you do it clean and you stick to it.
But you do it right.
You do it right. 30 days clean, you're going to want to keep going. You're going to want to keep doing it.
I promise you. We both swear to you, you will not go back.
And that year will fly by that you do it on after that 30 days when you just see, I'm doing this for the rest of my life kind of thing. And you'll look back and you'll be a totally different person.
Yeah. That's what I told Larry when I first met him. It's like, dude, you will blink and it'll be 1 year from now and it'll be over.
And what do you want to be that 1 year? Because it's going to happen. That blink's going to happen no matter what.
No matter what, right?
So do you want to blink and be in the same place or worse? Or do you want to be somewhere better?
Like, think about a year ago from today. Like, whatever day you're watching this, think about a year ago from today and how you blinked and you're here now. The same thing will happen with this diet. I swear to you. You'll feel it's impossible. You'll struggle. You'll suffer. You'll go through all the crap that we did. But you will still blink, wake up a year from now and be like, holy crap, I did it.
When I hit, I think it was 340, which was about maybe 8 months in. I was incredibly happy.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And again, that's so long ago, but not. Yes. But it feels so long ago.
Feels like a different person.
And I was so happy. I even have the video. I made a video and everything. And I look at that guy and I'm like, man, he's so not thin. But even that was only 10 months ago.
Yeah.
And that was almost 200 pounds. I mean, over 100, about 150 pounds ago. And it's a huge difference just from there to now.
Yeah.
And again, it was like a blink. Like it was so long ago, but at the same time, I can't remember anything in between.
Yes.
So it's literally a blink.
That's how quick it happens. Like, you just wake up one day and it's over. And well, I mean, it's not over because it's never over. Like
we're like drug addicts.
Yeah.
So it'll never be over.
Well, you're going to have to maintain whatever weight you want to stay at. So whether you want to be one of those big buff guys, that's always going to be a struggle because you're always going to have to be in the gym and eating healthy. Whatever weight you're at.
You have to be eating calories to maintain the muscle.
Or eating more calories to burn it while you're at the gym. Yeah, to build muscle. Like, it's all...
You want to be really rail thin, you're going to have to work on that.
It's all relative, right? And so as long as you're not just stuffing your face like you're doing now, like we did for the first 30 years of our life.
And when I think sometimes I might... When I interject when you're talking about like being, you're gonna be nice, and I'm like, but don't do this. Yeah. I don't want to be the jerk saying that I'm anything special. Because for 20 plus years, I was that person too. I had every excuse, everything to not change it or to go off a diet after only doing it for a couple of weeks. So yeah,
it's amazing how many excuses you have not to do it. And so yeah, do it. I promise you it'll work. Let's give them, before we close out this episode, let's give them a few tips and tricks of one of the three of any of the three steps, right? So like for keto, I can't cook, like I said earlier, but my tuna salad was my go-to. My chicken salad was my go-to. Those are so easy to do. Bell peppers, chop them up. A few onions, chop them up. Celery, chop it up. Chop up some tuna or some boiled chicken breast. Scoop of mayo, scoop of mustard, salt, pepper, and 7 spice or mint or whatever, and
Whatever
it's
your
done.
thing is, yeah.
And it's done, and it's delicious.
If you can learn 2 or 3 recipes, 2 or 3 recipes that you can cycle through, that'll get you through a lot.
Yep. Another tip or trick is I like sweets. I crave sweets now more than I did when I was heavy. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, because you could have them and now you can't.
Right.
So they're a treat.
That's probably it. But I never yeah, I guess that's what it is. So another trick I use is there's Luigi's frozen ice. They're 100 calories a cup at Walmart. I get them at Smith's at Walmart. They're 100 calories. It's Luigi's Italian frozen ice. It's 100 calories. It covers my ice cream craving, my sugar craving for 100 calories.
Yeah.
You know, do you have any of those tricks that you use?
I would add
that tortilla.
Yeah, that tortilla we talked about. That's a big one. There's more than one brand that do this almost exact same. It's 50 calories. It's 5 net carbs. Find it. There's one that has they have one that's the spinach one. They have a plain one. And they have one that's a little more on the brown side.
The spinach one's amazing.
It's amazing. So yeah, look for those. And then again, 1 or 2 a day at most. Maybe you could do actually up to 4, but that's your total carb limit.
There are days I have 4.
Yeah. But, that tortilla, I would say learn how to cook on cast iron. If you can get a cast iron skillet or a frying pan like that and learn to cook on that, and just learn to cook meat. If you learn to cook meat, learn how to season and properly cook meat, steak, pork, and chicken. If you can learn to cook those 3 things.
See, that's why he's the cook. He's actually talking about cooking stuff. I'm just talking about chopping stuff up.
Learn to cook. Learn to cook simple recipes. Don't go for complicated stuff. Cooking meat is one of the most basic things like mankind. It's like what made us what we are today. Mm-hmm. We learned to cook meat. Now it was easier to eat and digest, and we could get all the nutrients from it. And it changes it chemically when it gets seared. It makes it better. Learn how to cook meat, and that'll get you a long way. One of the most helpful things I will say is berries, raspberries. Careful blueberries, but blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries. Those are my go-to sweet. Those are the go-to fruit for me. They're high in fiber. They have a low net carb, and they can get you when you're having those days where you feel like I need something sweet or I'm going to lose my mind. If you're one of those people, a handful of berries will do it.
I do grapes, like a small handful of grapes.
Grapes got to be careful.
They have more sugar.
They have more sugar in them and less fiber.
But they're also very sweet and very they instantly kill that craving. I
can literally have like one.
Yeah,
get me
like
there.
3 or 4, and I'm like, oh, that was so.
That's all I needed.
Like I have all that sugar feel in my mouth.
Yeah, I would say that one of the trappings of keto is some people are like, you can't have fruit. You can have fruit. You just got to eat.
Moderation.
Moderation, sparingly, and go for stuff high in fiber. That makes a difference.
Yes.
So that's definitely one. And then the next one, I'm going to say this. I think we both talked about this. We hadn't mentioned it today. Don't exercise for the first bit. Give yourself, if you're already a physically active person who's been trying to lose weight that way, cut back on it. And then when you feel like you're ready, go back into it. But if you're not a physically active person now and you need to lose the weight, I'd give yourself at least 3, but 6 months.
Yeah. All those people that try and help overweight people by telling them to hit the gym are doing them a huge disservice.
It just makes you hungrier.
Like I see 400-pound guys at the gym when I go in the mornings, and it's like, dude, you're not supposed to be here yet.
Yeah, you got time to you got things to do first.
Because you have to understand when you're burning calories,
intuitive too.
It does sound good, but when you're burning calories at the gym, your body's ready for that calories to be put back in. So you're making yourself hungrier.
Make yourself hungry. Your recovery time is really low because there's so much stress on your joints and your body. You're going to be tighter. You're more tired. You're not going to get the results that you're expecting because you're fighting your diet. You can't outwork your diet.
Yes.
So I would actually avoid the gym for at least 3 months to half a year.
You'll know when you're ready to go.
And I wouldn't even necessarily go for the gym, but also this is my tip I was going to throw in on top of that. So don't work out, but when you're going to the store, don't drive around finding the perfect spot close to the door. Park in the first available spot and walk the extra 20, 30 yards.
And that'll come naturally. I noticed that happened to me naturally.
Once in a while, if rather than waiting for the escalator or the elevator, just take the stairs if it's one flight. If it's one story, you're going up, just take the stairs.
And that's sort of, like I said, that sort of stuff comes with time. Like your body just seems to like, you stop doing that. Like I used to drive around to find the closest spot just so I wouldn't have to walk because it would hurt to walk.
I actually purposely park far away.
And now I just park wherever. I'm like, oh, there's a spot all the way in the back.
I get it if you're like a woman and you don't want to, and it's dark and parking the lights up close front. But for me, I don't have to worry about that. So yeah, park a little further away, walk the little extra distance. These are little things. So that's not really necessarily working out, but it's just like a few extra steps in your day. Take the stairs when you're able to and it's convenient, at least at first. And yeah. So that's one of my tips.
Yeah.
Shop the peripheral.
So when it comes to IF, my tip would be to do a maximum of a 4-hour window. We touched on this earlier. Some people agree, some people don't. I would not eat for more than 4 hours a day. I would fast for at least 20 a day and eat for 4. If you can do less than 4, even better. Like I said, I do 1 hour for OMAD. I love that. If you can go a whole day and eat the next day, do that. But the most, in my opinion, my trick, my tip for this is don't eat for more than 4 hours in a 24-hour period.
Yeah. And I would say definitely starting, I agree with that. Because I didn't start doing the bigger window till later anyway.
Right.
And I was, because I'm trying to get ready for maintaining, I think.
Right.
What it is. I don't know my justification in my mind. No, for me, for intermittent fasting, my tip would be do an extended fast. Give yourself time to adjust. When you're about a month in, try an extended fast. Go for a 3 to 5 day fast.
That's hard.
It is hard. You may fail, and that's okay.
I would start with 24.
Well, if you're already doing OMAD, 24 will be nothing.
Well, because you get hungry. You get really hungry during your feeding period. So going to bed that night is really tough. Once you wake up the next day, you're like, oh, I can do this whole day standing on my head because your body's ready.
Here's what I say. Go for 3 to 5. If you don't make it, don't get discouraged. But go for 3 to 5. That's not about losing weight. It's about pushing your body, resetting, knowing how far you can go, pushing your limit.
Yeah. Fasting for some reason just makes you feel better and makes your body work better. So the longer you can do it, the better it is for you.
I would say that as someone who's done, 10s.
I've never done a 10.
Yeah. The second day is always the hardest.
Yeah.
Starting. I mean, like there really are harder days, but that you really hit the push to get to those harder days. The second day is always the hardest because you're like, oh, I should be eating and I haven't. So that's when the body's like, it's you set that new routine for yourself and you've broken that routine now. Days like probably after 3 to like 7 are amazing. Like you're not even thinking about food, at least me. And you're super clear, everything's fantastic. You drop that piece out.
Good.
And then that's when it gets hard again because it's like, oh, now like I really do need to eat. And that's the difference. But people have done, I mean, you look it up, do the research before you do exactly what I say. I'm just some guy on the internet.
Right.
Do the research, but some people have done 60 30 days, 60 days, and there's been men and women that under doctor supervision have done a whole year.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't do that either. But we have this weird idea of that, we talked about this on our introduction episode about starvation mode and how bad it is. Now we've learned, no, that's a good thing. It's autophagy and everything. You're going to be in if you do that 3 to 4 day, you're going to be in a super ketosis. You're going to be in a super fast. Your brain will be super clear. And then that meal is going to be the best meal.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
It could be the most plainest, blandest thing in the world, and it's going to taste fantastic.
It's so good.
In fact, I would even maybe even think about having something you don't necessarily like and find out how much you actually do like it now that you get to have it. But yeah, no, I would say that's my little tip or little everything for the intermittent fasting.
Okay, so I would suggest a maximum of 4.
Maximum 4-hour window, and I'm saying after about a month or 2, try an extended fast.
Yeah, and I would definitely do that as well. I would start with just a 1 day. See if you can make it past. Just not eat for that 1 day, and then if you can go the next day, go for it. If
see
not,
how far. Yeah,
eat the next day.
Yeah, give yourself a goal and shoot for that goal, but take it day by day.
Yes, and that's key.
And even hour by hour if you get past that first day, and it's tough. I don't know. It'll be different for everybody.
And for calorie counting, my tip would be find out what foods are worth it for you.
Yeah, learn to read the labels.
Because we talk about this, right? When he and I have cheat days, even we still...
Oh, yeah, that's a huge thing.
We still count what food is worth it. Like Chick-fil-A, the spicy chicken sandwich for me is like 300 something calories just for the patty. That's all I eat anyway. I'm not going to have the bread because that's an extra 150 calories of just sugar. And I don't need, even on a cheat day, I'm like, why waste those calories, right? The patty itself is what's worth it to me. And so I'll have 2 patties instead of one with the bun and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing we have talked about. Like when you get deep enough in this and you're losing the weight, and you occasionally will have a day where you like have a cheat day, and we've learned what fast food's worth it and what's not. Now, most of it is not worth it. But again, Chick-fil-A is, for whatever reason, it's like, man, I'm super satiated. It was really good, and I don't feel horrible afterwards.
We both love it.
So learn what's worth it. But my biggest one for calorie counting is learn how to read the label. That's a hugely important thing. Learn exactly what a serving is.
Yes. And servings are huge.
When you learn that and get that down, it will surprise you, like peanut butter.
Oh my God.
Store-bought peanut butter, the stuff that comes with the hydrogenized oil and the extra added sugar to it. When
One
you
tablespoon.
read it, you're like, wow, this is a lot worse than I thought it was.
1 tablespoon of peanut butter is like 200 calories.
And it's full of sugar, and it's full of bad oils.
And people on keto seem to love peanut butter.
If you buy the organic, no sugar added, the stuff you got to stir before you use it, that peanut butter, it's still high calorically, but it's not as bad.
But it's still 200 calories a tablespoon.
But you have to be careful with it, and they're not, because they're not reading the labels. They're not doing calorie counting too. That's an important part of it.
Well, we brought up nuts earlier, right? Like a handful of almonds is 200 to 400 calories.
It depends how big your hand is.
Right. But that's a ton of calories.
So you got to learn to read the servings.
So, and that's why I stress that calorie counting is still important here, because it's so easy to go overboard with keto when you're doing the keto combination.
You're just like doing, again, like we said before, if you're doing like handfuls of nuts and then bacon and cheese, you might be getting 3,000 or 4,000 calories in a day because you're eating garbage. Yeah.
And you're like, why am I not losing weight? Because you're still eating 3,000, 4,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
Like you have to count calories. At the end of the day, no matter what diet you do, it's calories in, calories out. Like it's just a math formula. The rest of it is just tricking yourself into better accepting the diet.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what all this keto, intermittent fasting, all that stuff is trying to trick your body into like enjoying the weight loss.
Yeah. And when you get there, it makes a huge difference.
You actually do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like we've both been telling you, you learn to love the weight loss and the diet.
I did just a couple weeks ago, I did a week of vegan just to say I did it. And I tried to keep it low carb. That's harder to do, but I tried to keep it low carb, and it was, last couple of days were a little miserable, but it reset my body, and I had a big drop afterwards when I went back into keto.
Right.
So,
and I'm going to do carnivore for a week just to try it.
Just to try it. And so that's the other thing. Like when you get to the point where right now we've learned to like experiment with our body in a way. Like what can I do to change things up, to switch it up? And we know what's good for our body, and we know how to listen to it. That's a huge part you learn. And so we've learned to do kind of almost like stupid things in a way like that. I mean, not saying they're stupid, but it's like, I wasn't really going to go vegan. I was just testing it out. And now I have a body that I can test on. It's more of a like a control body. It's not this extreme body. It's not extremely thin or extremely fat. It's average now. Now I can actually test things and do things.
Well, honestly, I think what it is your impulses are no longer in control.
Yeah, I'm not beholden.
In control.
Yeah, I'm not beholden to.
You're not beholden to your cravings.
Yeah, whims of my cravings and things.
So now you could be like, I'll try ice cream for a week straight because I know when that week's over, I'm not going to be craving ice cream and I can go back to eating healthy or whatever.
Whatever it is. I wouldn't do that. But yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're comfortable enough in your own body and in your diet that you're like, I could do anything and still lose weight. And that's not a mindset you have for a long time when you're overweight. You're like, what diet works? Because none of them work.
Where's that little special pill that'll make this all go away?
They all work.
They all work.
That's the secret you learn once you do it. Every diet works. Like we're calling this the cheat code and we're calling it easy. But if you feel like you can lose weight on another diet, go for it, right? If you haven't until now and you feel like you need the help, do the cheat code. It works.
Yeah, there's one that's speaking to you that's not what we're saying, go for it. I would just say whatever when I say that, I'm talking about keto, honestly. So whatever diet it is that you're looking at, I'm going to say name a few: pescatarian, vegetarian, vegan, low fat, low sugar, low carb, keto, Atkins, whichever one that's speaking to you right now, do that, and then count the calories and add the intermittent fasting, and it'll be a catalyst that makes that diet more effective.
Yeah, but if you could do the keto. When you turn your body into a fat burning machine on top of the intermittent fasting and those three things together, they lock into place, and your body goes into overdrive.
Yeah, and then food becomes fuel.
It really does.
And then you appreciate it more too at the same time, strangely. I wanted to mention this before we get done, that I think one of the weird trappings as an American is our variety.
Yeah.
Our choices. We could have Thai, we can have Mexican, we can have Chinese, there's so many different things we can have that we get caught up in this whole idea of like, oh, I had that yesterday.
Right.
I can't have that again. I just had it yesterday, right? Well, in most of the world, they have their staples, and that's what they eat. And they don't have weight problems like we do in America because they don't have the variety and the abundance and the choice that we have. And we get caught up in that. So when you can learn to appreciate this cut of meat with this side, and then I can eat that all week and be happy because I can appreciate it, that will also help.
Yeah.
So, or whatever it is, whatever your option is. So I think that's a weird trapping that as maybe not necessarily Americans, but maybe first world country problem. Problem.
Definitely an American problem.
We have too much and too much variety.
We're like 40% obese at this point.
It's ridiculous.
It's
I think Australia's worse, but I'm not sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh. Most Australians are great looking. I don't know.
That's the ones that make it here.
The ones that,
Those are the ones we keep. We don't want them here. They don't let them in. No.
But it's phenomenal how your body will adjust and how well you were doing. And like we said earlier, your palate will change. Like I enjoy vegetables now. I didn't like vegetables at all before.
Yeah.
At all. Like potatoes are the only ones I enjoyed because they're full of carbs.
They're not a real vegetable. They're a grain.
Vegetable.
We considered them a potato because a vegetable because it was the only way we could justify eating it.
Yeah. Like that's why I loved it.
Look, I'm eating French fries. I'm being healthy.
Yeah,
it's a vegetable.
It's a vegetable. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But your palate will change. You may not believe this, but I taste when something has too much salt now. I taste when it has too much sugar now. I'm like, oh, that's full of salt.
Salt, yeah. Or
full
that's
of sodium.
too sweet.
Like your palate will change. Your mouth will change.
I think you also notice how cheap it is when it's that way.
Yeah.
Like when something's full of sugar and salt, it's like, oh, this is cheap.
Yes.
They're trying to make up for the lack of a quality ingredient.
Yes. And look, it's your life, man. If you're happy being 300, 400, 500 pounds and you want to stay that way,
you want to keep lying to yourself.
Like you're watching the wrong show, right? You're watching the wrong podcast. You're listening to the wrong podcast because nobody's really happy at that weight. And if you're telling yourself that you're happy at 500 pounds, I think you're lying, but more power to you. Go do your own thing. But if you're ready to lose it, if you're ready to be done with that life, come join us, man. You can do it. It's easy. You'll be done in a year. It'll all be over. So
we want to support you. We want to help you. Leave comments or message us or whatever if you think you need it.
Yep. We'll try and cover a different topic every week to help you. Like we wanted to do the cheat code right out the gate to kind of, for those of you that want to know the exact diet and to like hop in, this is it.
Do you want to give an example of a standard meal for you, or do you want?
I did the tuna salad and the chicken salad. Yeah. That was my go for a year straight.
My go-to is a piece of meat about the size of my fist, maybe smaller depending on the size of your fist, and then leafy greens either raw or cooked.
Yep.
And then water.
Yeah, like it's really that simple, and you're going to be like, oh, how boring! I don't think I can do that. You can do it, and you'll learn to love it.
Learn to cook and learn to season, because that's not going to add the calories.
Yeah, seasoning.
Avoid sauces at first, but yeah, learn to season. That'll get you there.
I would avoid sauces altogether. Like until
you can when you learn when you know, but you have to get there. You guys don't know.
Yeah, once you know, you know. Like that's the thing. Like we've talked about, we don't count calories and stuff anymore. Your body knows after a while, and you actually know deep down what you should be doing right now.
But you can't get through it.
You can't get past it.
You can't get past it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will wrap up this
week.
Episode of the No Breakfast Club. As always, I'm Larry.
I'm Daniel.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
See you next week.